Thanks everyone for joining us. We've got Coach Close here, Camryn Brown and Jaelynn Penn. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach.
Well, good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. In the big picture, this is just, what I'm trying to really think about these days is, and our director of mental training talked about it with our team today. The difference between play and pressure, and like, what did they feel like when they were a little kid and they got out to play in the driveway and they just couldn't wait to go and compete and with an opportunity. And I think that was a really good reminder, like, you know what, with everything that's happened and the ups and downs, like, man, we get a chance to go to a great environment down in Tucson, to compete against a great team, to go play and improve and set ourselves up to be playing our best basketball, hopefully going into the conference tournament. And so let's have an attitude of play, not of pressure. And so that's really our focus right now, is getting ready for battle and going for it. And, I was pretty spirited with them today because I believe in them. And so that's really the perspective that we're going into this weekend, and really excited to have an opportunity to go and compete and to really, join these great competitors like Jaelynn and like Camryn, that are real leaders in our team and steady perspective people for our team, and really excited to come alongside them and try to mentor and equip them for them to be at their best come Thursday evening.
Thanks, Coach. A reminder, if you have a question, to raise your hand. We'll go ahead and start with Mike.
Hey, Coach, you guys have already played Arizona, kept that one pretty close. What have you learned from that game that will help you go against them this week?
Yeah, I think, obviously we know how they pressured us, what things where we made it tougher on ourselves than we needed to be, some tweaks that we can have. And really my challenge to them is, can everyone get just a little bit better in their pass and catch, and a little bit better about how to make somebody else better, meaning create teamwork plays, and what can we learn from that? And so I think it especially applies to how we handled their press, which we did some really good things that we need to keep doing. But it starts with that. It starts with taking care of the ball. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. And we turned it over 16 times, which is too much. If we can just get like to under 12, I think that just makes everything else easier. They shoot 70% in transition. So the best way to stop their transition game is to take care of the ball. So that's going to be a big piece. And there's some really small tweaks in our spacing, some things that we can run. We did our scout guys did a great job today replicating Arizona. And so that's going to probably be the top priority of what you're talking about in terms of adjustments. And then we're making some slight adjustments defensively to allow ourselves to pay a little bit better close attention to personnel, as well as keep people in front of us. They're probably the best team in the conference. Oh, that is so cute, Tammy. The best team in the conference in terms of their percentages when they get to the paint. So that's going to be the number one priority, is keeping them out of the paint. And usually when you see a player that's really good at finishing around the rim or getting to the free throw line, like Pellington is, if you just make her get to like the 6 or 8 foot range, the percentage really drops. Not for her. She's like 61% at the rim, and she's like 60% right out of that. So we just need to keep, especially Pellington, totally out of the paint. And then we're going to have to stay a little closer to Sam Thomas so that she doesn't get going.
Sue?
Hey there, ladies. Camryn and Jaelynn have been, according to Coach Cori, two of the kind of the emotional leaders of the team. Can you guys maybe talk a little bit about what are some of the, talk about kind of some of the, like the emotional and mental lulls over the last couple of games, or maybe even a week, and then how you guys have reset, because I know you've already reset for the weekend.
Yeah, I'll start it off. Yeah, it's been kind of frustrating what we've been going through, but you're talking about reset. We just keep looking like day by day, like what a great opportunity this is. And we have great perspectives on this team to like bring that, especially some people who have like battled injuries like me, Chantel, Jay just got back from our hand. We just keep like remembering what it felt like when we had to sit on the sidelines and watch. So we just keep bringing that perspective of, wow, we get to play basketball again. And we just keep having opportunities to play. And there are so many other things we could be doing right now, but we get to play the game we love with people we enjoy playing with. So that's kind of how we've been resetting from the frustration we've been having as.
Yeah, Cam said that super well. I would just repeat that what she said, and I think just reiterating staying together through all the frustrations. Coach Cori says all the time, so one game season. So move on to the next game and the importance of that game and learning from our mistakes and learning from what we did well on the previous games and just keep growing in that and executing as a team.
I know the year's not over yet, obviously, but man, you guys have been through so much. Camryn was on this team last year, and Jaelynn I know you had your struggles last year too. What all have you learned about yourselves throughout this process? It's been an unbelievable 2 years, to say the least.
I've always known I've been kind of resilient, but I don't think I knew I could get through as much as I have. So it's been rewarding to look back on that journey. Like today's the 22nd. 3 days ago, a year ago, I tore my ACL versus Oregon. So I think I got a picture on like Google Photos that we took before that game. And it was a reminder like, wow, Camryn, look how far you've come. Look where you are now. So I think I was very surprised at how much I did get through, and then just still having this optimistic mindset of I still get to do a lot of stuff that I didn't think I would be doing a year ago at this time. So that was a pretty cool memory and kind of like a gratefulness that I felt a couple of days ago seeing that memory.
I love that, Cam. Yeah, I would say the same. Looking at my past years, just playing college basketball, I've been through a lot physically and mentally. And I mean, I'm here now. I've got through it now, stronger and better than before. So just looking at that, like I've already been through this and that, and I come out better each time so I can get through this.
Sue, just to build on that, like, first of all, I'm like a proud parent listening to them, right? I remembered seeing Camryn's mom at the senior reception yesterday reminded me of this, that we weren't sure she was going to go for it to come back and play. Like maybe the third one was just going to be too much. And to watch her not only come back, but to watch her lead through her whole process and to use, I mean, she's really been a fifth coach, on so many levels. But the courage it took to dream again, that is not a small thing when you've had 3 ACL tears. And, I was talking to her mom about it. It's just like, wow. And look what Cam's doing, and look what courage she's had. Look how she's impacted the people around her. Look at the maturity she's gained. I'm so proud of who she's become through this. And, and that's a choice you have to make, to choose a growth mindset is not easy. And for Cam to do that has been incredible. And then I look at Jaelynn, and Jaelynn, if you had asked me a year and a half ago, just watching Jaelynn, I would have said she was a scorer. I would have said she was a great player. But I don't know if I would said she's a dynamic leader and an influencer of culture in her courage to talk about mental health. And I look at how her leadership has grown on our team and how, she's played a position sometimes that she's never done her whole life and embraced it and really flourished in it. Honestly, she's really found different ways to be a contributor. I think her IQ, I thought it was pretty good before, but I think it's gotten even better. But her leadership growth has been remarkable. And to see her courage to talk about her journey and to affect so many people's hearts. I haven't even shared this with them yet, but I shared it with our staff today. There was a daughter and a mom who came to the game and then came to the reception, they're season ticket holders. And they have been so inspired, and they both had tears in their eyes, and they've both been inspired by Jaelynn's courage in this area. And they've been through so much as a family. And they said in their culture, you don't really talk about mental health, but to watch Jaelynn and our team do that, that's given them the courage. And they came up to me with tears in their eyes, the daughters in the 8th grade and the mom, and said, this is exactly what we needed in our hearts. this was a soul day for us. And that put things in perspective for me, but that's a direct correlation of how Jaelynn has chosen to handle her adversity. So sorry to go on about that, but I just thought those were important to share.
No, thank you very much. I'm so sorry. I didn't know all that was going on. I didn't know it was 3 ACL tears, and I didn't know about the Jaelynn's piece. So guess we better talk later. Thank you so much.
Lauren?
Hi, yeah. This actually doesn't have to do with the games this week, but I'm writing a piece spotlighting Lauren Miller, and I was wondering for Coach and for like Cam, because you played with her in the past, what is it like having her still be around the team after her graduation? For Cori, like how are you mentoring her still? And then Camryn, like how is she mentoring you in that role?
And you should ask Jaelynn Penn, because she's actually really close to Lauren as well.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that'd be great too. Thanks.
Yeah, they're really good buddies. But I think for me, to be honest with you, I am not Lauren's primary mentor. I'm her fan now. You know, she's in our offices all the time because her office is right next door to ours. And I really respect what she's doing. She's still involved in our program. She does about, you know, I don't know how many hours a week that she does creative content and photography for us. So she's still involved directly with our program, but then her work with the varsity club and having her link with alumni, I'm just really proud of her. I'm proud of how she continues to grow, and I'm really her fan. But I think, you know, Coach Tasha, honestly, and Coach Shannon play a much larger mentorship role in her life. So I would be, you know, remiss to do that. I'm just really a fan and really proud of her, and I want to continue to serve her in any way she needs. But go ahead, Cam and Jaelynn, you guys talk about your relationship.
I was ecstatic to hear that she was staying in this area. Her and Mick leaving like broke my heart last year after senior day. So I was super happy for her to stay super close, and I get to see her like all the time, every day. She's still like that big sister I get to have all the time. She definitely helps put this season in perspective. She's has a great IQ, so I can always still talk basketball with her and be like, oh, how can I read it here? What can I read here? Especially like at times I'm playing the 4, because her role last year was to like help direct, put us in offense and stuff. And I feel like that's kind of the role I've stepped into this year. So like having her perspective of how she did it, what did she go into, how she viewed the game was always super cool. And then just to have my friend here basically 24/7, super close, has just been great.
Yes, for me, Lauren being here for my first year at UCLA is godsend. Honestly, she's a super good friend. Yeah, really high IQ, really wise, a truth teller, pushes me as a player and as a person. And I guarantee if you ask maybe like 3 or 4 people on the team who they talk to after games, it's probably Lauren. Yeah, calling Lauren, seeing what she sees on the court, what can I do better, what she sees on the team. She just has that really leadership and high IQ. Cam's talking about her role she played for the team in previous years. And it's just cool having her around as a friend and just hanging out. And yeah, I love Lauren.
One other thing to add on that is that, you know, if you asked probably 100 alumni what their biggest request would be, is to have more connection, is to feel that sort of love. And we've had a lot of turnover in that position. And so I just think about, you know, her impact has been just so great, and her opportunity. You know, I really challenged her to start writing, you know, we're really big on thank you notes in this program, and to like start just reaching out randomly to alumni and just to see their response to having someone like Lauren reach out to them. And so she's not only making a difference, continuing to make a difference in the lives of our program, but also in her new job, and how really making alumni feel reconnected and special, which is huge. And then I would say, and I think I will set you guys up to talk about this since you were both on the call, really, Lauren and Kiara were the first 2 to really formalize MTAD. They were the ones that really had the biggest vision for More Than a Dream, and how they wanted to take the feelings and the strife of what were happening in response to the murder of George Floyd and make this a long-term, real difference maker in the lives of our program, but also in the impact of others. And really, she deserves a ton of credit for that. She was really the leader in that. And then, to watch, I cannot tell you what their faces were like. So they do these Bruin table talks, and they just recorded one last Saturday. And I'll let them talk about it. But with Dawn Staley and Joni Taylor, the two coaches from Georgia and South Carolina. And it made me appreciate Lauren, quite frankly. Lauren set the table. Lauren, no pun intended. Lauren, set the foundation of these kinds of experiences, continuing to impact and help our players' experience flourish. And I thought of Lauren when I saw their faces coming into film after that interview, and I was thankful for Lauren in that moment. Do you guys want to talk about that, Cam and Jay Penn, since you guys are both really involved in MTAD?
Yeah, can definitely add on to that. And Lauren's still like super active member. Like now she helps coordinate our meetings. She's kind of like our liaison in between us as like the player group. And then when we talk to like Coach Tosh and Coach Shannon, as they're like our higher ups who we have to run stuff through. So she's like our liaison. So she's always super active in what we're doing now. She helps us wherever she can, wherever we need. But yeah, that Bruin Table Talk was super fun for all of us. Me, Jay Penn, and Riss were giddy for the rest of the day after that talk. I was describing to my mom, because she asked me, was this Bruin Table Talk better than the one with Gabrielle Union and Cori Champion? And I was like, they're both really cool because you never think you can talk to these type of people. But like, for me, at least, talking to Gabrielle Union and Cori Champion was more like, I get to talk to celebrities. But talking to Dawn and Joni, it was more like, I get to talk to somebody who like I view as a hero. Like, it's one thing to talk to people you never dream of talking to, but it's other people that impacts like the life you live right now. Or if I ever wanted to go into coaching, those two would be my inspirations. But just to talk to strong Black women in the field that I'm playing in, somebody who we could play against, just people who have led the way for like players like me, to talk to them was super cool and just like awe-inspiring.
Yes, 100%, completely inspiring. Super cool to talk to Coach Staley and Coach Taylor. Just amazing women. Black women, women who look like me and Cam and Riz, and all the Black athletes out there or Black students who want to get into coaching or sports. Like, it's just that representation is truly inspiring, and how successful they are as coaches. It's just, I don't know, it's just the humility they have too, and just talking to them, they're so down to earth. It was super cool hearing their stories and how they got into what they do, and just reiterating that message that there has been some increase in opportunities for Black women and in sports, but there still needs work that needs to be done. There's work that needs to be done in that field. So it was just super cool hearing from them and hearing their stories.
So you're talking about legacy, right? And we always talk about in our program that the only two things that stay with you for the rest of your life from these 4 years is who you become and who you impact. And think about that in Lauren's case, since you're doing a piece on her, that think about who she became in that process. And now not only who she impacted while she was here, but who she continues to impact. And you just saw that in the stories of Camryn and Jaelynn.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk to her today, and she's super inspiring. So thanks for your guys' time.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, go ahead.
Hi. I think when you look back and we've talked a lot about how challenging this year is, and we all know, we don't have to continue to talk about it. We all know we lived a lot this last weekend, a lot of emotions for a lot of different reasons. I'm wondering from all three of you, what have you learned about how to refresh and go back to the sport that you love? How do you step away from it and then come back to it and refresh? Because like with me and my health, I can't go at cancer 100% of the time. I have to get away from it. I have to step away and I have to go back. And I'm just wondering, for basketball, how do you go into Poly or the, Moeston Center and get in there and practice? And what is it that you guys do?
Go ahead, you two. How do you refresh?
I make sure the off days we're given are true off days. Like, I know for myself, I need to get away from basketball at least once a week, like completely. So our off days, whenever they do land in the week, I don't look at anything to do with basketball, don't look at a scout, don't look at anything. And I just let that day be filled with whatever my heart sees fit, whether that's going to get new food from different restaurants, cooking, like reading, playing Xbox, like whatever I feel I want to do that day, I'm going to do it. And I just don't look at anything to do with basketball.
And music, right, Cam?
Oh, I also, yeah, I listen to music 24/7. That's on days I do basketball or not. But yeah, I just really fully encompass myself with whatever I really want to do that day. I make sure I have like complete me time, and then like basketball's not even brought up that entire day.
Yeah, to go off that, I would say just having really good self-care, being intentional about how I take care of myself and my mind. Outside of basketball. It can be frustrating, but you said it's tough what we're going through, but, I come home, I make sure that I do all my responsibilities, but I make sure to relax. And I've been meditating a lot recently and just staying like in this, where my feet's at, staying in the present moment and not worrying about anything in the past or anything in the future. Really just when I walk into Poly, that's where I am. If I walk into Mo, in the film room, that's where I am. So I just focus on that and I try to think of nothing else.
I should have gone first because my answers aren't nearly as cool as theirs. I do similarly. I try to really spend time. For me, my faith is important, so I try to really block out some time where that's not just a quick thing. It's something I sort of just sit with during that day. I love to go on hikes. I usually go on a hike, weather permitting, on off days that way. And for me, it's spending time with people outside our program. It might be a phone conversation, it might be a lunch, but I try to be intentional to have connecting time with someone totally outside my basketball world. So that's a big deal for me. So I think, physical, mental, spiritual, relational, to try to step out of, the basketball realm and to invest in those areas. It fills me back up. I always say to our staff, you can't give away what you don't have. And if we're going to be a servant oriented program, we're actually being incredibly selfish in order to not replenish and refresh, because we won't have more to give away.
So this is big opportunity to beat a really good team. And I'm just wondering, how do you this week make sure that the fatigue isn't there? And I'm not really even talking about physical fatigue. I'm really talking about emotional fatigue, because you have a chance to go down to Tucson and do something really special on a stage that is, they consider their house, and they're going to pack it. Pretty exciting.
Go ahead, Cam. No, you go, Cam. You're way more articulate.
I think it's also Coach Cori touched on it earlier, like the play versus pressure idea. We were talking about it today. I think it's also like reframing our minds to be like, this is a really exciting and fun experience we're about to walk into. Because I think it also gets very exhausting and tiring when you're thinking of it like, oh, this is who we play, this is the big deal, they're going to be like this, and this. Like, also remembering at the end of the day, basketball is just a game, and it's a game that we love to play. So at least for me, like, I love walking into like games thinking like, Camryn, this is a game you love to play, and you haven't played it this much in like a year. And at one point you didn't ever want to play it again. So just have fun. Like, that's how I try to make sure like I'm at peace of mind when I walk in the game, and I'm not getting like overwhelmed when I just think about just have fun.
You want me to go? I think the bottom line for me is, let's just be really straight. The pressure's not on us. I mean, you can pack it, you can do whatever you want. The pressure's not on us. We're going to go down and have a blast, and we're going to get better, because, the reality is we're going to do what Jaelynn Penn just said. We're going to be totally present where we are, and we have to be playing our best basketball going into the Pac-12 tournament. So bottom line is, let's focus on how am I going to get 1%, one possession better in our teamwork. How can I want Camryn to be totally focused on joy of the moment and how she's going to be responsible to improve. And same with J Penn. I want her to be totally focused on what does it look like to pass and catch just a little bit better so we take care of the ball, and what does it look like to make one more teamwork play for someone else. And if everyone just stays there, we're going to have a lot of fun. But let them handle all that stuff about their house and how many people are there, or, you know, whatever. We know we ain't getting a call. We know it's going to be loud. We know all that. Who cares? Let's enjoy every second of that. That's why you come to play in the Pac-12, is to have those kind of markers and experiences and opportunities. So I want us completely focused on what does it look like for us to improve, and how much joy can we bring?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Just like, I haven't thought about it at all, really. I don't think we're thinking about it as a team, because we can't control that. And our focus is really on us. How can we be better one possession at a time, like Coach Cori was saying? How can we execute better, and just focusing entirely on what we can control? The atmosphere, the refs, what Arizona's doing, you know what I mean? Like, we can't control that. So it's not where our focus goes. And like Cam was saying, it's opportunity. You know, it's exciting. We get to play this game, get to be in a great atmosphere, and just look at it like that and play with joy. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Maybe just one quick one. I know you guys have not traditionally put out Bruin Table Talk for public view, but any chance of getting the Don and Joni?
We
Bruin
do.
Table
We
Talk
put
there?
it out there. No,
Oh,
we put
good.
it out
Okay.
there. Yeah,
I would love to see that. I would love to see that, because
you'll get to.
all the words that Cam and Jaelynn said about empowering examples has really hit home, and those are two of my favorites too. So that'd be great. Okay, thank you. Thank
They're
you
all
guys for your time. I wish I was as cool and together when I was 22 as y'all are. So
I wish I
Congrats.
was too.
congrats on that. Jeez.
Anything else? Just to close up the loop, Liza, real quick, is I do want to just take the opportunity from a media standpoint to, first of all, thank you guys for not only telling our stories this year, but telling the stories of our signed recruits. You know, just so excited for the group that's coming in. And, you know, I think, you know, Kiki won again today, Gabs won again today, and major things. You know, there's just so many really cool things in the Bruin family that is coming up. And just want to say thank you to you guys for, you know, whether it be retweeting it or just showing them Bruin love. That just means a lot. And I think it's really encouraging, and we're really excited. That's not where our focus is right now, but we want to acknowledge the great work that they're doing and how excited we are for them to join our Bruin family in the upcoming years. And just really say thank you to you all for how you continue to bring, it's not just about them, it's about our game and what's coming up and building enthusiasm for our game. So thank you for that. And just major shout out to our recruits, our 22s that are signed. They're killing it and earning every bit of that #1 recruiting class ranking by the way they're performing in their senior season. So could not be any more thrilled, and really grateful to you all for continuing to build them up.